Good morning. Welcome to First Parish Brewster, the place that cultivates liberating love by living with mindful intention, practicing kindness, and serving needs greater than our own. Or to put it simply, here we try to be mindful, be kind, and be of service. I'm Elenita Muniz, worship associate in this church, honored to be co-leading with Kaiza Fern, our music director, and Anna Smith, our director of Children and Youth Ministries. And I also want to say a special thank you to the pop-up choir that showed up this morning to learn the music. If you are a visitor, we are so grateful you are here with us today. Please join us for coffee hour following the service so we can greet you more appropriately. And if you'd like to, please fill out the rectangular welcome card in the pew so that we can send you more information about the church and all that we do here. Please don't miss the announcements on the back of your order of service, especially the announcement about Meadow Dibble's presentation this afternoon. It is such a gift to us and our community, and I hope many of you will be able to attend that. And finally, I invite you to take out your cell phones and turn them off, please. Today, we're going to be talking about memories, how we create them, how we welcome them, treasure them, how we lose them, and how we save them. Let's give ourselves permission to be however we are today, wherever we are, as we consider this topic. Please take a deep breath in with me now. And one more. Let us be present in worship with one another.
Good morning. This morning, the choir is going to be singing a song that's called I Will Remind You. And this song was written as a tribute to families facing the challenges of Alzheimer's disease.
Searching for your past, a lifetime full of memories slipping through your grasp. You see those pictures on the mantle, tell the story of your life, a glimpse into your history of days long passed by. When the photos start to fade, when the memories slip away, it's a struggle every day. I will remind you. When you look at me and say, you see a face without a name, perfect strangers in the frame. You see that picture taken long ago of a boy who's 3, blowing out his candles, sitting on your knee. Well, that child is all grown up now. Yes, that boy is me. I'm standing right beside you, where I want to be. When the photos start to fade, when the memories slip away, it's a struggle every day. Strangers in the frame, I will remind you. I will always you've always been for me. And together we can beat this in the end. 'Cause I can be your memory. Even when the darkest clouds pass, you will find there's hope. Eventually the sun breaks through, forms a rainbow, and every day we'll make new memories and add them to the shelf, always to remind you you're never by yourself. When the walls start to fade and the memories slip away, it's a struggle every day. Strangers in the frame, I will remind you. When the photos start to fade and the memories slip away, it's a struggle every day. I will remind you. When you look at me and say, you see a face without a name. Perfect strangers in the frame, I will remind you.
Thank you. Well, 3 days ago, this church turned 325 years old. It's also my son-in-law's birthday. He's not 325. Chuck Ross read us some of what I'm about to read for us back in January when I did the sermon about our history and some of the stories of our church. It's the original covenant that was signed by the 8 men who are listed over here on the wall that began this ecclesiastical society, as it was called. I have abbreviated it considerably, but I want us to consider in the main points of this covenant what still is our roots and where have we moved away from the positions and beliefs they held 325 years ago. On October 16, 1700, the church in Harwich, consisting of 8 persons, was gathered with a church covenant. Do we still have a church covenant? Yes, we do. We who are by nature children of wrath, being sensible of our own inability to make or keep covenant, disclaiming of all confidence in ourselves, and looking up to God in heaven for the help of his Holy Spirit in this solemn work. Does this still apply? I don't think we're this hard on ourselves, really. I really don't. And whether or not any of us calls on a higher power is completely up to each of us and varies considerably among this congregation. We do here make our covenant with the Lord our God and with one another. 1, we take the true God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, one God in 3 persons, to be our God. Today, we welcome everyone, believers, questioners, pagans, humanists, everyone. We believe we are all on a search for truth, and we support each other in that search. 2, we promise we will be careful to observe the rules of distributive justice, rendering each to the other that honor, respect, and love which the gospel of Christ requires of us, and that we will seek to pursue and promote that peace and growth of this Church of Christ, and carefully avoid whatever may tend to obstruct or hinder the same. Does any of that ring true today? Not specifically in terms of Christianity, but generally, honor, respect, and love for each other, I think that's something we still treasure. Peace and growth of this church, I think that's also still important to us. 3, we also promise that we will attend the rule in watching over one another, exhorting and admonishing one another with a faithful and thorough exercise of discipline. Not so much. 4, and summarily we covenant that we will endeavor to walk both toward God and toward one another in sincerity, in love, and in peace. I believe that still works in our goal of trying to create a more peaceable and just world. So welcome to us all to this historic church, newcomers and old-timers alike. It isn't always easy to adhere to a covenant, but we are all doing our best. And in that generous belief, I invite you to please rise and greet your neighbors. Thank you.
We're all crying as we're practicing.
I know it. Braden and Anna are going to help with our chalice lighting. As candles lit the first meeting house that graced this knoll, we now light our chalice candle, acknowledging as we do so that First Parish Brewster occupies land that was home to the Wampanoag people for thousands of years before European colonists violated their sovereignty and assaulted their people, livelihood, and culture. Acknowledging this history, we honor the resilience and strength of today's Wampanoag tribe. Please rise as you are willing and able and join in our congregational affirmation. I invite the children and anyone else who feels young at heart today to read the bold type. We believe in love.
Love is the doctrine of the Church.
We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is a sacrament.
We believe in helping others.
And service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine.
Let's sing our opening song together from the TL hymnal. It's 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place,
Morning, everyone. Before I start the story, I just want to let you know for next week, the children are going to be going around and collecting for UNICEF. So if you bring change, you can pop it in, you can scan it if you want to donate that way. But as some of you know, I'm do Model UN at the high school. So UN committees and projects are important to me, and also fun. I think a lot of us did the UNICEF collecting when we were children with the little boxes, so it might look familiar. Okay, are you guys ready to hear a story? All right. All right. So today we're going to hear a story about one of our ancestor UUs, right? Isn't that exciting? Her name was Clara Burton. And this story is about how compassion and kindness sometimes can get us out of our comfort zone, right? To help others, okay? So there was a little girl named Clara who lived right here in Massachusetts. She and her family were Universalists, and they would take their buggy to church for 5 miles. That seems like a long time in a horse and buggy, doesn't it? To a church that her father helped build. And Clara was very shy, right? Kind, but very, very shy. And, but she believed that every person was worthy, and she believed in kindness. So Clara had an older brother named David, and David got hurt one day, and Clara really wanted to help him. She begged her parents to stay home and to help her brother get better, help him be fed, help him stay clean, keep him company, help with his wounds. So she did that for 2 years, right? It was out of her comfort zone. And she really discovered that she loved helping others, loved nursing her brother. She later became a teacher, and she loved being a teacher. Even those rowdy kids that others had a hard time with, she loved those kids, and she would play with them and earned their trust. She later started a free school that was open to all boys and girls, whether they were rich or poor. She felt that they all deserved the same education and opportunities for learning. She always stood up for what she believed in, even when others didn't believe her or didn't agree with her. She stood firm. She learned that compassion means being brave enough to share what you know and believe, even when you disagree. Then the Civil War came, right? A long, long time ago. And there were lots of wounded soldiers that were not being cared for. And so she decided to go to the battlefield. That didn't happen back then. Women didn't go to the battlefield, but she put her fear aside to help those soldiers, nurse them back to health, keep them company, and show compassion. She put her shyness aside. Clara knew that compassion didn't always feel safe or easy, but it's about showing up for others when they need you the most. After the war, she used her own money to help families of missing soldiers. She would write letters, ask people for help, even though she was scared to speak in public. Later on, she went to Europe and discovered the Red Cross, and decided when she came back to the United States to start the American Red Cross. Has anyone heard of that? Have you guys heard of the American Red Cross? And it's still going on today. So she created something that she felt very, very strongly about, and it's still helping families and children and grown people every single day. So sometimes we may have a little fear. Sometimes we aren't sure, right? But sometimes it's also important to step out, right? Try something new, be helpful to others, even when it feels hard, but to show up for your friends and show up for your family. All right? Thank you very much.
This morning's offering is a split plate with Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, or WRAP, which is a nonpartisan nonprofit organization assisting women who are financially unable to pay for safe, legal reproductive health care. It provides urgently needed financial assistance nationwide to individuals seeking abortion services or emergency contraception. This organization was nominated by our Reproductive Rights Task Force. More information about WRAP is available at wrrap.org. The morning offering will now be gratefully received. Doesn't that make you want to just foxtrot around the meeting house? Let us join together in a quiet meditation, followed by a few moments of silence. Try to be comfortable in your historic pew. Ground your feet on our ancient floorboards. Close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so, and breathe deeply. Listen to the words of Alicia Longriver Davis. The path of peace. By feeling satisfied with what I have, I feel no envy. By giving freely to those who would take, I feel no anger. By understanding the fears of others, I feel no hate. By accepting the differences of others, I feel no judgment. By recognizing the specialness of all, I feel no self-importance. By seeing the wonders of Mother Earth, I feel humble. By knowing all that I can do, I feel my worth. By knowing what I cannot do, I feel humility. By these feelings, I walk the path of peace. May the silence we have shared continue to hold and heal us all. Translator, scholar, and poet Maria Banus was born in 1914. She grew up in Bucharest and studied at the Faculty of Letters and Law. She received the Romanian State Prize Laureate and died in 1999. This reading is called The New Notebook. Full of superstition, I begin a new notebook. White leaves, sea foam. I close my eyes and wait for the first day of the world. For Aphrodite with wet lips, red curls of flame and open shell, shy and sure, to rise from the salt foam, out of the primordial algae. I wait under closed eyelids. One can hear the gray rustle of seagulls under the low sky, and the monotonous thunder of waves, only of waves which come and go. I just have to say, it's very humbling and a little bit terrifying to have you all sitting there looking so expectantly. Memory is a strange and wonderful thing. It grounds us, setting the base on which we build our lives, whether that ground is smooth and easy or rough and full of stones and pitfalls. Memories serve as the guideposts and foundation of our sense of right and wrong, our measures of sadness, joy, fear, and love. Many years ago, I wrote a poem about my separation from the countryside that I call my heart's home. That countryside is along the southern tier of New York State, where my grandparents had their farm and where my mother was raised. Whenever I travel to that place or even near it, I feel that I am home in some really profound way. The hills, the pastures, the cows, the open valleys and their barns, the many, many streams that run along the roads. It's home to me. But the reality is that I spent only 2 weeks of summer there when I was a child, plus Thanksgiving weekend. Yet the memories of that farm and countryside are so deeply ingrained in me. It is a heartbeat built on memory. It was idyllic, of course, for us kids. We were totally free to run around that farm and up the hill to the bee yard or across to the creek where we spent hours wading and swimming. Sometimes we got to go to the post office with our grandfather, who was a rural mail carrier. If we got up early enough, we could go with him before breakfast while he organized, bundled, and sorted the mail, loaded it and the packages into his Jeep, along with a cash box of stamps, postcards, and all the forms that might be needed on his 50-mile mail route. Then we would go down the road as far as the Pennsylvania state line, delivering mail along the way, then home for breakfast, then out again to spend the rest of the day winding through the hills of Chemung County. We always stopped at Clarence and Marguerite Bauer's farm for a visit. Their housekeeper, Min, baked sugar cookies, perfectly round, with one raisin in the center, and one cookie filled my hand. The mail route was a long day, but I was with my beloved grandfather, so I didn't really notice. Alternatively, we might stay home with Graham and Mom, helping around the house or garden, or free to go wherever we wanted. We spent a lot of time in the barn, where my brothers and cousins climbed to the rafters to jump into the huge pile of shavings that stood at the end of the planer, where my grandfather, Poppy, had smoothed the pine planks that lined his living room walls. He and his friend Bill Jerem had cut the trees from up on the hill, skidded them down the steep dirt track to the road, hauled them down the road to Dutch Reese's sawmill to be cut up, and then taken the planks back to the barn to be shaped and planed before they were installed in the house. We tagged along after them whenever we could. The sawmill was only half a mile from home, and often the best swimming hole in the creek was located right across the street from the sawmill. There was a big board for us to jump from into that chilly, chilly water, where whiskered bullheads hung suspended below us until we cannonballed off the board and sent them scurrying away. The location of the swimming hole was decided every spring by the rush of melted snows down the hills to the creeks, into Mud Lick, and then into Sealy Creek, where we waded and swam. From there, the water travels to the Chemung River, and thence to the Susquehanna. Anytime as an adult I have driven across the Susquehanna on Interstate 95 in Maryland, I have felt a tug upriver, upstream, up creek, to where Sealy Creek still flows through my grandparents' farm, now owned by my cousin. What do these memories mean to me? What building blocks and guideposts did they provide me? The value of hard work, for one. Have you ever done a week's worth of laundry in a wringer washer? The importance of community, the love of land and woods and streams and history. The need to be there for each other, to help and care for and share with each other. A love of the beautiful, whether that was a garden of buckwheat for the bees, or the rows of quail eggs waiting to be hatched, or my grandmother's roses. Something quite simple can trigger a memory of this very special place. Last June on Star Island, I purchased this glorious piece of hand-woven African fabric. I was warned that it had a peculiar odor to it. And when I picked it up and smelled it, I was instantly back in the honey house where Poppy decanted his honey from his hives. Maybe there's beeswax in the process of making this, I don't know. But it was a magic carpet back to the farm. So why have I taken you down this meandering memory lane? When I accepted this Sunday assignment, I was moved to speak about memory loss and grief. But when I sat down to write, I realized that memory is a multifaceted miracle. It's not just each little wrinkle in our cauliflower brain. It's also whole florets of that cauliflower. And we can lose those memories in so many ways. For instance, when my brilliant brother Paul died at age 63, way too early, I came to see that so much of my foundational memories were tied up with him. After he died, I suddenly had no more fact checker for my childhood memories. My sister-in-law is a reporter for KQED, and she always just called my brother to check facts because he truly was brilliant and knew everything. When I was a kid, it was extremely annoying. But now, when I can't remember a name or an event, or I want to add detail to a memory, I can't, because I've lost Paul and his ability to affirm or correct the things that I remember. This is a memory loss I had never thought about, never anticipated. Similarly, the loss of a friend who held memories of me at a very challenging time in my life. At one point, a few years ago, when I was feeling pretty bad about the choices I had made during the years she and I were close friends, she wrote that she still had all the letters I had written her at that time. She asked if I'd like to read them, because she thought that they recorded a different me than the one I was grieving about so many years later. It was a comfort knowing that she was the guardian of this alternative view of me, and that I could call on her if I wanted to. I didn't, but I could. But then, shockingly to me, a joking remark I made in a letter about her finding friendships among the Republican Women's Club abruptly ended our 45-year friendship. Despite several apologies and appeals, she has never written to me since. While I'd like to blame someone else, the fact remains that I must have hurt her very deeply for her not to respond at all. And now those precious letters are in the care of someone who no longer cares about me. Or maybe, and I kind of hope this is true, they've been tossed into the trash, so that captured memory of me is gone. Another chunk of my memories unable to be verified. Sometimes I find myself obsessing in the middle of the night about memories and loss. Some of it is simply being the age I am. Some of it is forgetting where I put the keys. And some of it, I know, is because for the past year, I have been working in a memory care residence as a part-time concierge. It's a lovely place. The people who work there are good and kind and caring people. There are activities and bus rides and guest musicians and friendships among the residents. We smile a lot and work very hard to meet people where they are in that moment, something Judy and I learned through the 7 years that her mother lived in memory care. Patience and a complete lack of expectations can go a long way to smoothing the road for those dealing with memory loss. I really like my work. Under the surface, though, there runs a deep, if quiet, stream of sorrow. Not a flood, nor a river, but a small and persistent rivulet of sadness. It's not uncommon for someone to move into the assisted living unit upstairs and eventually to move down to the memory care unit. Sometimes they are blissfully unaware of the change. Other times, they know very well what is happening. May I share 2 stories with you? We have a few residents who love their daily walk. If they can get out and walk down to the pond to look at the swans, or walk once around the building, or even just down to the flagpole and back, their day is made. One dedicated walker was so regular in his perambulations that I was told when I started there, you can set your watch by him. If he says he'll be back in 10 minutes, he will be back in 10 minutes. This man is an Army vet, and he'd come down in the morning and again after lunch for his walk around the building. Sometimes he needed help putting on his jacket, zipping it up, and getting in his gloves and hat. But once bundled up, he'd grab his walker and off he'd go. "Be back in 10 minutes, he'd call as he went out the door. Such a sweet presence, always cheerful, always with a smile. Sadly, he died rather suddenly last spring. But for a long time, we kept his photo inside our concierge desk, where only we could see his smiling face. We still miss him. On the other hand, let me call him Tom. He too is a veteran, a Marine. He moved into assisted living a couple of months before I started working at the residence. He was experiencing some difficulty with word recall, but was able to go out for a walk, up to the little store for a snack, across Route 28 to the Italian restaurant. We could call him a cab to take him to his favorite restaurant in Hyannis too, or to Panera for breakfast or lunch. He would sometimes come down to the lobby for a cup of coffee and tell me about his experiences in Korea, where he served, how cold it was. Not complete detailed stories, you understand, but enough that I could understand his experiences a little, sentences and phrases that captured his memories. And when the husband of another resident would come in to visit her, the two men could share their stories of Korean Marine Corps adventures, recalling the bone-chilling cold, and jeep rides with legendary Marine Corps General Chesty Puller. For everyday run-of-the-mill needs, however, Tom struggled to find the words. Sometimes he'd come down with his TV remote in his hand and do this. Maybe adding, "The damn thing is broken," by which I knew he couldn't make it work. So I could call an aide to meet him in his apartment and help straighten it out. Or he would bring his phone and shake it at me and say, I need. And we could figure out who in the family he needed to call. Over time, Tom's aphasia has deepened. A couple of times, kind strangers brought him back from Panera. He couldn't tell them where he lived, but he could direct them. At last, the cab company would no longer pick him up because he couldn't say where he was going or how he would get home. And he has moved downstairs into the memory care unit. Through all of this, Tom has been aware of what is happening to him. Some of our early conversations began with the refrain, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" And he might tell me about other family members with very bad memories, again ending with a plaintive, "What are you gonna do?" Sometimes he was angry about his inability to communicate, but mostly Tom did what so many residents do. He carried himself with dignity, tried to be kind, tried to accept this cruel fate. Mostly, he lives with grace. One morning not long ago, when I walked through the dining room at breakfast time, I waved to Tom across the room and he waved back, big smile. Later on, he came to the door to tell me he had enjoyed seeing Mitty and that he hoped I would have a good day. Of course, he doesn't have the words to precisely say that, but we worked it out. It was so sweet and also so painful. Tom is a proud man. He's lived a full, useful life, and now he struggles to deal with sorrow and frustration and loss. Tom and the other residents with whom I'm privileged to work teach me something every day in the way they go forward and carry on. They teach me about patience and courage and acceptance and dignity and grace. Grace. Anne Lamott said, "I do not at all understand the mystery of grace, only that it meets us where we are, but does not leave us where it found us." She was talking about one's personal experience of grace. In my case, I am a witness to grace. I saw it in Judy's mother and all her friends in memory care. I have seen it in assisted living and in nursing homes. I saw it in my dear mentor, Mary, as her brilliant mind eroded. And I see it every day in the people living where I work. Life goes on. We play the hand we are dealt. And we have some choices about how we do that, for a while anyway. Reverend Scott, when I spoke to him about this sermon, said to me, "You don't always have to have the answer. Sometimes you just need to sit in the sadness." But it seems we don't often give ourselves the time to grieve, to feel, to fear all the losses of age. Mostly we are just putting one foot in front of the other and trying to carry on. We may not share our concerns or our worries because we don't want to burden anyone else. And maybe we think we're being such babies about everything anyway. It's only about aging, after all. I think that's unfair, though. Sometimes we do need to just sit with the sadness, that undercurrent of sorrow that I feel at work. Not to wallow in it, but maybe just to learn to live with it. And in those moments of grief, often tinged with anger, we need compassion. Compassion for our loved ones, compassion for ourselves. The thing is, our memories matter, not just to us, but to others too. And we no longer have the oral traditions that allowed our memories to be preserved in ritual or in storytelling. But our memories are still precious, and we want to hold on to them. So do that. Hold on to your memories. I started a book for my girls years ago because I wanted them to know something about my grandparents' farm and all that it meant to me. The hours I spent wading in the creek, the time I stepped on the big black snake, or the time the top of the Boston cream pie slid off as the Jeep climbed the steep hillside to the bee yard picnic. Little stories in my handwriting saved for Mika and Bryony and their children. I urge you too to start setting your memories down. Get a new notebook. Something that opens nice and flat so it's easy to write in, and fill it with wide-ruled paper. Don't be afraid of the blank pages. Just start telling your stories. You may smile or laugh or cry as you write, but in the end, you will know that your particular story, that very specific memory, has been saved, no matter what happens in the future. And saving a memory is truly a beautiful thing. Blessed be.
Let's join together and sing our closing hymn from the Gray Hymnal. It's 89. Come my way, my truth, my life. Please rise in body or spirit.
Truth, my life, such a way as this.
If you'd like to join hands for the benediction, you're welcome to do that. These words come from the Diné, the people that we call the Navajo. Beauty is before me, and beauty behind me. Above and below me hovers the beautiful. I am surrounded by it. I am immersed in it. In my youth, I am aware of it, and in old age, I shall walk quietly the beautiful trail. Blessed be.